Well, hi everyone, welcome to the Buffett and Beyond Research Saturday ETF report, and this is May 31st, 2025, and the big question today is, should Taiwan Semiconductor be in our list of the top stocks in the semiconductor portfolio that we have? And we have about 5 or 6 stocks in there, and the question is, how come Taiwan Semiconductor is not in there? So let's go and see, because now we can discover or use the computer program to see what's going on. Also, the SMH, which is the Van Eck Semiconductors, has Taiwan Semiconductor in it, but the XSD, which is the semiconductor index from S&P 500, does not. And let's see how we found that out. So first of all, what we do is we go to the Buffett and Beyond site, and you can see it's changed since probably last time you were in here, and it's going to change again, but you just keep up on it. It's easy to follow. So we go to the subscribers locker, and then we go to products down here. We go to the ETF and individual stock database. So we click on that, click on it again. There's a lot of clicking going on, and come on down all the way down here where it says click here to access the ETF and individual stock base, and that's exactly what we do. So we click on that and we come up to the full program, and over here on the left you see all stocks and ETFs. So let's go to the ETFs and we'll look up let's go here to the semiconductor ETF. And so we look at, in this case, the projected 2025 ROE, and I go from the highest, just click on this arrow here, and that gives us the highest ROEs to the lowest ROEs. And we see NVIDIA, Avago, which is really Broadcom, used to be Avago, Monolithic Power, First Solar, Advanced Micro Devices, and of course you probably haven't heard of Rambus or Qualcomm. You have, and it goes on and on and on. But we don't see Taiwan Semiconductor. So let's go back to ETFs here, and we'll look up the SMH. We'll search that, and it brings up the Van Eck Vectors Semiconductor. Click on that, and that brings up the stocks in that ETF, and we're going to go projected 2025 ROE, and we'll go from the highest to the lowest. We see the same old stocks again. I shouldn't say same old, because they're performing very, very well. We see NVIDIA, we see Broadcom, Monolithic, and then there's Taiwan Semi, because Taiwan Semi is not in the other ETF that we use. So the question that was brought up is, why don't we have Taiwan Semiconductor in our portfolio? And the reason is because when we use the other portfolio, Taiwan Semiconductor wasn't in it. Let's go back to that again. Hit ETFs, go to the semiconductor here, and we go from the highest to the lowest. We keep clicking on that little button there, and you don't see Taiwan Semi in there. So it wasn't in the top 5 stocks that we picked from this semiconductor ETF. So what do? Now, do we add Taiwan Semiconductor in? And let's see what we have to do that. Let us go all the way over here to Big Charts. Click on Big Charts. And there we are. And it comes into Big Charts. We have the S&P 500 already in that box. And we are on advanced charts. So let's go. I'm moving this a little bit, and we're just looking at this part in here, but let's go over to 1 year, and we're going to compare it to the SMH, and let's put in the XSD. Okay, so now we have the Van Eck in there, the SMH, XSD, which is the S&P semiconductor, which does not contain Taiwan Semiconductor, and let's put in Taiwan Semiconductor in there, because that's the stock that we are looking at. And we come here, and let me enlarge this. So now we see the S&P 500. we see Taiwan Semiconductor outperforming by a long shot, by almost tripling the S&P 500. Again, this is 1 year. And down here we see the SMH. So Taiwan's doing very, very good, and Taiwan is part of the SMH. And then right here at the bottom at a minus 10%, we see the S&P Semiconductor ETF. So the key is, now our portfolio is up 5%. Without Taiwan Semiconductor in it. But let's go to 5 years. And here we are, 5 years, and let me enlarge this right here. So now we have the S&P 500 down here. We have the S&P SXD. Here, look over here in this corner. XSD is the blue line, and that's up, maybe just 20% more. And up here we have the SMH, which is the Van Eck Semiconductor, and this red line is outperforming them all. That's the Taiwan Semiconductor, and the people are saying, or you folks are asking, why is not Taiwan Semiconductor in our ETF or the best stocks in the semiconductor ETF? But what we have to look at is, what did our top stocks in the semiconductor ETF do over the past 5 years? Now, right in here, we have Taiwan Semiconductor, and here's remember, right in here is the Van Eck Semiconductor, and down here is the S&P Semiconductor, all outperforming the S&P 500. But what has our 5 stocks done over the past 5 years that we have in the top stocks in the semiconductor? And that has returned 420%. So we're up here. Now the question is, well, if our top stocks are all the way up here, do we put Taiwan Semiconductor in that portfolio? Because it wouldn't be adding to the portfolio, it would be subtracting from the portfolio, because it has returned only 275%. And I say that tongue in cheek, folks, only 275%. But our 5 stocks over 5 years have returned 420%, which would be up here. So the question is, do we put Taiwan Semiconductor in to improve our results? Well, it would not have over the past 5 years. But what if we went into each stock that we have in our portfolio, our top stock portfolio, and see if Taiwan has outperformed any one of them? And that will take about a day and a half of research, so we're not going to answer that question here. But what I'm trying to show you is how you can use the computer program in order to find various stocks in different ETFs. Now, how did we even know about the SMH ETF? And that's because everybody talks about it. It's the largest semiconductor ETF that is out there that we know of, and I think it is the largest semiconductor ETF. So what we have to find out, would Taiwan Semiconductor have been a better fit in one of our stocks? If we just added it to our portfolio, which returned over 5 years 420%, if we just added it to it, it would subtract from the overall return. But the thing is, now we have to look and do research on to see if one of the stocks in the in our top stock semiconductor group from the semiconductor ETFs, would Taiwan Semiconductor have outperformed at least one of the stocks in there? And we'll have to go through all the stocks to find out, folks, because we don't keep the same stocks in the portfolio each year. So that's why I say it takes a lot of work. It'll take a couple of days of research in order to plot those stocks each and every year against Taiwan Semiconductor. And we'll do that at another time, and we'll do it next week. So, folks, we had a pretty good week this past week, with the market sitting at about up 0.5% for the entire year. But all our portfolios are up 5% or slightly better. So we're doing better than the markets in all categories. So you go out, you have a good weekend, be with your family, stay safe, and folks, we'll see you back here in a couple of days.